Well, Playboy was a good magazine to work for because they used a lot of cartoons and they paid pretty well, and I liked that kind of cartoon, so it was a lot of fun. Okay. Playboy started about 1956, and right away it was a big success, and everybody wanted, all the cartoonists wanted to work for Playboy, and uh, I hadn't really, I wasn't very, I didn't know much about cartooning that, so I had to kind of teach myself cartooning, and even the magazine, Hugh Hefner, he had to kind of figure out how to run a magazine. Okay. Well, I worked for a lot of other magazines too, because way back there in the 50s, there were many magazines and newspapers that used cartoons, and you could just send them in, and if they liked them, they'd buy them, and if they didn't like it, they wouldn't buy it. But there were many magazines that you could send to in those. But today, there aren't many magazines. There's only the New Yorker and Playboy and maybe one or two others in the magazine business. And I've worked for lots of other magazines like the New Yorker and the Saturday Evening Post, in the New York Times, a book review, and just many other magazines that have been around. Okay. So you see, I'm a freelance cartoonist. I work for many cartoon people who around in when I got started, um, and Hugh Hefner was the guy who bought the cartoons. It was his magazine, and he had been a cartoonist himself at one time when he was in school, and he liked cartoons a lot, and he he uh, he would he wouldn't buy everything you sent him. You had to just buy some of them, and some of them he didn't want. I started cartooning when I was a little kid, and I guess most cartoonists start out that way. And I never thought I'd be selling them to magazines, but one day I said I was working for I was looking at cartoons in the New Yorker, and I thought, well, I can do this, so I'll just try it. So I just sent some cartoons in there, and they didn't buy one right away, but they did buy one, and I sold one to the Saturday Evening Post and into here, and I sold here and there, and to many magazines that aren't even around anymore, and that's how that went along.